Hello and welcome to my review of the TG-UV2-PLUS from Quansheng. This 10-watt dual band handy talkie has been around for a little while now, so I thought I'd give it a quick run through and see how it fared against my other more powerful radios here. As you can see from the construction, the unit is pretty well made. As I said, it claims to be a 10-watt radio. We shall find out whether these claims hold true as you watch further on into the video. You'll find out whether that's the case. A single male SMA screw-in connector in the top of the radio there, the ubiquitous flashlight, and the monitor key on the side there. This radio comes with the standard Kenwood style microphone earpiece accessory sockets in the side. The battery here weighs a nice weight, I've got to say. I didn't put this radio on the scales, but this claims to be 7.2 volt and 4 ampere hours. I'm not sure whether that's accurate. I haven't tried it, but it seems to have plenty of heft to it. The antenna actually is quite decently made for a change. Very often these things are quite cheap, as we've seen in other videos, but this one actually seems quite reasonable. The belt clip, again a nice sturdy belt clip. I wear a lot of my radios on the belt, so that's nice to see. The charging base is very similar to some of the other charging bases I've got a massive collection of here. The sticker, I must say, looks a little bit like it's not quite meant to fit the bottom of that base, doesn't it? But it's supplied with a wall wart and the standard depth type adapter. Now the battery slides in and clips in here nice and firm. I was quite pleased at how secure that was, no movement at all. And the antenna, as you would expect, a nice fit into the top of the radio. It looks to seal quite well. The battery is removed from the radio simply by pushing the lever at the top, and it slides down nice and easy. Some radios this can be a bit fiddly, but on this radio this was nice and easy to slide, and it pushes back in, locks really firmly, and overall it feels nice in the hand. Now, turning on the radio, you notice it's got a very different display to the usual Baofeng radios. This one you have to enter into the menu by means of function keys, so it's not quite as flexible to program, but you can of course program that with a PC and a cable. I'm not covering that on this video because there are other channels that have already covered that. So anyway, let's have a look and see if this actually outputs the power that it claims to output. So I got this hooked up to the digital meter at first, and checked it on VHF, and a standard frequency there that we all use. And I was quietly surprised when I wasn't expecting great things into the dummy load, I'll be honest, because these claims are very often spurious, but this wasn't. This was actually pretty close, as you'll see on the analog meter as well, showing a forward power of 8 watts. With nothing reflected as you'd expect into the dummy load there. So I was quite pleased with that. I think that you know, that does show. I mean, it's fluctuating a little bit there. I think I was only half pressing the button or something, but I was quite pleased with that. That seemed to tie in with the manufacturer's specs when you look at the analog tests as well. Now on UHF, you'll see here it did go up straight up to 10 watts. Again, really impressive. Not many, if any, of the more affordable Chinese radios do this, and this radio currently can be picked up from AliExpress for 40 odd pounds, so a very powerful radio for the money. Now I thought, in the interest of balance, I would check this against the analog meter just to be fair, so I rigged up a similar setup with the dummy load and the analog meter and tried it out. As you can see here, we start off the test on UHF and we're reading about 8 watts, and this is what I'm finding the difference between the two meters. On UHF this meter tends to read a bit low and a bit high on VHF, and it's the other way around on the other meter. So averaging out, I think we can see that this is going to be fairly accurate, because you'll see here that on VHF testing we're at 10 watts. We're on the 20 watt scale there in the middle, and we're hitting a full 10 watts on VHF, and that very definitely is the most powerful radio of this size anyway that I've tested. There are more powerful radios that are physically much bigger. As mentioned, it takes a standard Kenwood type interface here. I thought it'd be interesting, as I've got the camera, to actually try and connect this up to the FLIR, just to see what this sort of temperature characteristics were like while I keyed up. So I've got the radio keyed up on 10 watts. and as you'd expect into the dummy load, there wasn't really anything being reflected back into the radio, so the radio is staying nice and cool. And as you'd expect, the only thing that tended to warm up here was the dummy load, as you can see on the table. Now I fast forward a little bit on this video to show you the dummy load there increasing in temperature. You can see actually characteristically there that the resistors for that dummy load are obviously located right at the top and not all through the body of the load there. And you can see the side is warming up only ever so slightly. Now I fixed the aerial because it seemed to be of a decent quality, and I don't know again if this is relevant for the test, but it does seem to be warming up nicely along the length of the antenna there, with only a very slight hot spot to the side. And when I say hot, it means it's just slightly warmer than the rest of the antenna. Again, I think this is just where the antenna coil connects to the actual connector on the SMA socket in the radio. I needed to get my antenna here at the base in the loft, so I designed and quickly printed a little swiveling bracket so I could mount the connect it to the top of my white stick antenna and mount it as high as I could in the loft to try and get the best sort of performance out of the antenna. So I quickly knocked this up and climbed up into the loft, attached it to the top of the white stick there, which this is the antenna that used to be on the side of the house. Right, we're here at location A with the Quansheng and a few other radios just to test. The weather's a really nice day today out there, considering the weather we've had just recently, so I'm hoping for great things. Only slight problem is the antenna at the new location is in the loft and it's not on the outside of the building, so I don't know how good this is going to be, but we should find out. Right, we're here with the TYT first. We give this a go. This is G7LNK with the TYT UV800, UV8000 even. Location A, approximately 2 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is G7LNK with the TYT UV800, UV8000 even. Location A, approximately 2 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the UV82-PLUS. This is G7LNK portable with the UV82-PLUS at location A, approximately 3 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is G7LNK portable with the UV82-PLUS at location A, approximately 3 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, we're here with the Quansheng UV2-PLUS. This is G7LNK portable with the Quansheng TG-UV2-PLUS at location A approximately 2 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is G7LNK portable with the Quansheng TG-UV2-PLUS at location A approximately 2 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As if by the magic of TV, it's now the afternoon or sort of late evening, as you can see over there, and yeah, we'll try and see if we can get a range check back to base. The new property is about 90 foot higher than the old one, but the aerial is in the loft, so obviously it's not gonna, reception's not gonna probably be that great, but I'm not sure. So this will be a good test actually. But we'll use this these same locations still as the benchmark anyway, so it keeps things pretty relative. I think with the loft, the loft antenna is going to perform very similar to the rooftop antenna in the old location. I think it's kind of going to work like that. But we're going to get a rooftop antenna installed at the new property fairly soon. Right, let's see what these radios can do. Okay, this is G7LNK portable with the TYT UV8000E at location 2, approximately 7 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is G7LNK portable with the TYT UV8000E at location 2, approximately 7 miles, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Quansheng. This is G7LNK portable, with the Quansheng TG-UV2-PLUS at location B, approximately 7 miles testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Okay, that's the Quansheng. Right, this is the Quansheng. This is G7LNK portable, G7LNK portable with the Quansheng TG-UV2-PLUS at location B, approximately 7 miles testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Right, with the UV82 now. This is G7LNK portable with the UV82 at location B, approximately 7 miles UHF test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. This is G7LNK portable with the UV82 at location B, approximately 7 miles UHF test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Well, what can I say about the Quansheng? I think it's pretty decent actually. I mean, I know like the earlier version of this radio has been around for quite a while, but this is the kind of the revamp, the plus version, and I was just a bit intrigued to see just how well it would perform. And I've got to say, it's a cracking radio. This is probably, well, not probably, this is the most powerful handheld I've tested. This is pumping 10 watts out, and you know, that's pretty impressive. Receiver sensitivity I've not really checked, but it seems reasonable. On the setup at home, I was knocking a repeater about 60 miles away was coming in, so that's good. The build is very solid, it's very well made. It feels really well made, very much on a par with the TYT, which is a particularly well made radio. The antenna, as we saw on the video, seemed to be effectively radiating nicely in terms of heat. Whether that means anything, I don't know, but it's just something I'm doing new with the FLIR. I don't know if I did show you, but it's got a really easy to access port there. You can do it one-handed, you see, for the Kenwood accessory headset microphone. The menu system is very different, obviously, as we saw in the video there. It's not your standard Baofeng type menu, and there is this little slight odd delay when you fire it up. If you see, I've turned it on and then it comes on, there's a bit of a delay to it starting up. Whether that's a deal breaker for anybody, I don't know, but I've got to say, all in, I'm really impressed with this for what it costs. I mean, we tend to stick with the sort of the top Chinese brand names, don't we, such as the Baofengs, but I think these things, it's definitely worth having a little play around, and really unusual for a radio to actually does what it says on the tin, so to speak, because they normally woefully underperform. But this, as you've seen on the radio, on the video, it's tested well on both the analog and the digital meters, so yeah, fair play. Right, with that, I'm going to shoot off home now because it's going dark, and the cars running by the side of my car at the side of the road here are going so quickly. I don't really feel safe to be sat here. So if you have been, thanks ever so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.